My name is David Davis. I work in sales at a company I joined right after graduating from high school. But I have a big problem. Since I moved to New York for this job, I don't have any friends around here. Normally, you'd have colleagues who joined at the same time to hang out with, but there are no peers in this company. Apparently, there weren't any good candidates, so I was the only one hired. Just recently, the manager told me the truth. David, it must be boring without peers. We wanted to hire a few more people, but there weren't any good candidates. So that's why I don't have peers. When I talk to friends, they all have peers, and I was pretty envious of that. Yeah, it must be tough without peers. You can't even discuss work problems, and since you moved here, you don't have friends nearby. That's right, the friends I was close to back home all stayed there. So I don't know what to do on my days off. If you had colleagues close in age, you might be able to hang out on your days off. But everyone here is much older than you. But everyone is really nice, so I feel very comfortable at the company. Of course, I'd be happy if there were people closer to my age. I don't know if we can hire someone right away, but I'll talk to HR about recruiting people around your age. Thank you so much for that. But it's a tough ask, so you don't need to worry too much about it. Well, it might be fine if you were married, but since you're single, it's a time when you want to hang out with peers. I can't promise anything, but I'll let HR know. Thank you very much for considering it. I'm honored to work under you. Even without peers, I'll continue to work my hardest. Thanks to the manager's consideration, the company decided to strengthen recruitment of people my age. Honestly, I had been hesitant to say it, but I wanted colleagues around my age. But I thought it would be pointless to tell the company, so I didn't say anything. However, since the manager mentioned it, I decided to take advantage of it. A few months later, I was called by the manager. It's rare for the manager to call me, so I didn't know what he wanted to talk about. But the manager is a kind person, so I didn't think I was gonna get scolded. With that in mind, I went to the manager's office, and he suddenly apologized to me. David, I need to apologize. Remember the conversation we had a few months ago? It seems we can't hire people around your age. I see. I was wondering why no one was joining. So that's the reason. Is there a specific reason for that? Well, HR is doing their best, but it seems there aren't any candidates around your age that they want to hire. So it's not that there are no applicants, but none of them meet the criteria during the selection process. I'm not too sure about the details, but it seems like that's the case. So it might take a bit longer to hire someone. That's understandable, so it's totally fine. The other colleagues are all very kind, so I'm enjoying my work even now. This is just a guess, but I think the reason we can't hire people your age is because you're already here, David. What do you mean by that? Is my presence making it harder to hire people? No, I think it's the opposite. Because we have someone as competent as you, even decent candidates might not seem good enough. I see. That makes sense. Thank you for the compliment. I still think I have a long way to go though. It's rare to be praised this much by the manager, so I'm really happy. I've been doing well lately and feel like I've been contributing a lot to the company. The company is looking for someone like me because I've been able to contribute so much. However, it seems they can't find candidates who can perform at this level, so they haven't been able to hire anyone. I didn't expect that to be the reason, so I was quite surprised. But I'm glad the company values me this much, so I don't feel bad at all. On the contrary, if they think that way, I feel motivated to work even harder. David, your hard work has really boosted the company's sales lately. At this rate, you might out-earn me. I know you're joking, but that won't happen. Still, I'll work hard to make it a reality. Half joking, half serious. I think the company would grow even more with more people like you, David. I'm really happy to hear that from you. I'll work hard to live up to those expectations and continue growing. If you keep delivering results, I might lose my position. But I'm really happy with your achievements. I'm gonna work harder than anyone else to contribute to the company and get promoted quickly, though I know it's not that easy. Promotion is tough, but that's for ordinary employees. I think you'll get promoted quickly because you're exceptional, David. Do you really think I'm that good? I feel like I've contributed to the company, but I didn't realize I was so highly regarded. I thought you'd be more conceited with all your achievements. The company really values you, David. After hearing that, I felt more motivated to keep pushing myself. As I am now, I can't truly recognize my own achievements, so I aim to accomplish enough that even I can be proud of myself. It's incredible that you can maintain such ambition despite already achieving so much. Honestly, you might surpass me someday. I still think it's tough for now, but I'm making it my goal and working hard toward it. Please let me know if there's anything I don't understand. I'll work hard too so you won't surpass me. But no matter what happens, I'll always be your boss, David, so feel free to ask me anything. Without the boss, I don't think I would have achieved this much. When I first joined, I had no experience in sales. I hadn't even done any customer service jobs, so I wasn't very good at talking to people. The boss taught me how to do sales, and gradually I started to see results, leading to where I am now. I can't thank the boss enough and feel I'll never surpass him. While thinking about that, I managed to secure several large contracts and became the top sales performer for the month. To achieve top sales performance so soon after joining our company is truly amazing. I had high expectations, but I didn't think you'd reach this level. I worked hard, but I didn't expect to become the top sales performer. It's all thanks to the boss's guidance. I've taught you many things, David, but honestly, I've only taught you the basics. Most of it is your own skill. No, it was really just luck. My skills are nowhere near yours, boss, but I'm definitely happy to be the top sales performer. Even after achieving top sales, you remain so humble. Maybe it's that humility that got you to the top. This time it was just a series of coincidences. I'll keep working steadily so I don't get complacent and lose my progress. You're right, it's amazing to achieve top sales, but it would be a waste if you can't maintain it. Keep aiming for the top next month too. Thank you for your support. I feel even more motivated to contribute to the company and learn as much as I can to apply it to my work. If you continue to grow at this rate, you might become an elite that no one can catch up to. We don't have any other top-notch employees with just a high school diploma. I'm determined to keep growing so I can become a salesperson who won't lose to anyone. So far, I've been growing steadily, and if I keep this up, I might maintain the top position. But then I fell ill. I was taken to the hospital while I was unconscious. I guess I focused too much on work and neglected my health. I never expected this to happen after finally achieving top sales. I feel really sorry for causing trouble for the company. The boss came to see me right after hearing the news. I heard you collapse suddenly during a sales call. How are you feeling? Don't worry about work right now. Thank you for coming. I feel okay, but it seems I can't work for a while. It's a shame that someone as active as you, David, is in this state. It's a big loss for us too. I'm really sorry for the trouble. I'll recover and get back to work as soon as possible. I want to return to the front lines. I'd love for you to come back soon, but your health comes first. We can't have you collapsing again after you return. Thank you for your concern. But I feel like now is the best time for me, so I want to get back to work as soon as possible. I understand you're eager since things were going so well, but you were working harder than anyone else, so you should rest a bit. I appreciate you saying that, but I don't want to cause any more trouble for the company. I want to recover quickly and contribute again. I see. Well, there's no stopping you. We're looking forward to having you back. But make sure to rest during your hospital stay. After saying that, the boss left the room. It seemed he had come during a break from work. He must be really busy, yet he came because he was genuinely worried. For his sake, I want to recover quickly and return to work. But even though I felt that way, the doctor told me I wouldn't be able to leave the hospital for years. Apparently, I have a disease that's hard to treat. My life isn't in danger, but I won't be able to return to work for a while. When I told the company, the boss came to see me again. I heard you won't be able to return to work for years. Is it that serious? You seemed fine the other day. Yes. I didn't know at the time, but detailed tests revealed the problem. I'm really sorry for the trouble. Don't worry about the company. The most important thing now is your health. Will you eventually recover? The doctor said that with slow and steady treatment, I can recover. But it could take a long time. Long-term treatment sounds really tough. I never expected it to be this serious. You were doing so well, and now you'll be gone for a while. I thought I'd be back soon, but it looks like it'll be years. What will happen to me? You've contributed so much to the company that I don't think you'll be let go immediately. I'll make sure to negotiate on your behalf. Thank you so much for your support. I'll focus on my treatment and aim to return once I'm fully recovered. Knowing your illness won't be cured quickly must be tough mentally too, but we're all waiting for you. Take your time to recover, even though it's certain I won't be able to work for years. Thank you for such consideration. I'll take my time and recover. Our company also needs you, David, so we definitely want you to come back someday. That's how much we value you. I'm so happy to hear that, even though my inability to work has caused a lot of trouble for the sales department. You have an outstanding personality and have delivered impeccable results, so it's only natural for the company to support you. Even though I'm causing so much trouble, I'm grateful that you've come all the way to the hospital. I hope to return to the company and contribute again someday. Until you return to the company, I will take responsibility for training the employees. It's going to be tough, but hang in there. And so, I began my long hospital stay. I never thought I would live a life like this, so I can't fully accept this reality. That being said, now that it's happened, my only option is to recover as quickly as possible. With these thoughts in mind, I ended up staying in the hospital for 15 years. Normally, being hospitalized for 15 years would result in being erased from the company. But my company was really kind and told me it was okay to come back even after 15 years of hospitalization. I never expected such a response, so I'm truly grateful to the company. When I went to the company after 15 years, the manager welcomed me. 15 years of hospitalization, you really went through a lot. I'm so glad you were able to be discharged safely. Thank you for visiting me so many times. Because of your visits, my hospital life was fulfilling. Davis, you say that, but I only visited once a month, didn't I? I never thought you'd be hospitalized for 15 years. When I was told I'd be hospitalized for years, I honestly couldn't accept it. But I've always wanted to come back to this company. Since you were hospitalized for 15 years, you probably have a lot of rust. We'll start you off with small tasks to get you back up to speed. I appreciate that. One thing I'm relieved about is that people haven't changed much in 15 years. The sales department hasn't changed much either. But one guy, an academic elite, joined. He's very motivated. So someone like that joined, huh? I think I remember you mentioning him. Where is he now? His name is Nick, but he's on a business trip now, so he's not at the company. He's close to your age, so I think you'll get along well. We finally hired someone of my age. 15 years ago, when I was the top sales performer, I heard it was hard to hire people like that. I thought things hadn't changed much, but they seem to have changed to some extent. 15 years is enough time for a newborn to become a middle school student, so it's normal for things to change that much. Still, a company that naturally lets me return after 15 years of hospitalization is truly generous. Given that it's been 15 years, it's tough to make an immediate impact, but I want to get back to the front lines as soon as possible. After you were hospitalized, we waited a while, and then Nick, with his impressive academic credentials, applied. We hurried to hire him. What do you mean by only academic credentials? If he has great academic credentials, wouldn't he perform well after being hired? The company thought so too, but we hurried to hire someone because you were gone, and he hasn't grown as well as we hoped. Why hasn't he grown well despite his academic credentials? I thought he would be a better asset than me. He might have better academic credentials than you, but in terms of job performance, Nick is way below you. That's why we've given him a small regional company to manage, so you can't trust him with a big city company. I thought people with good academic backgrounds were all high performers. There's a tendency for that, but Nick has a habit of looking down on people because of his academic background, so he doesn't communicate well with others. If you can't communicate well with others, it's hard to ask questions and you struggle. The growth rate also drops significantly. Davis, you didn't have any of those issues, so your growth rate was amazing. You absorbed everything I said. I made sure not to miss a single word of what you taught me and acted with the intention of applying everything. We hired Nick thinking he would be like you, but he turned out to be an annoying guy who looks down on people. Still, we can't just fire him easily. It seems he doesn't fit well with our company. Judging by the manager's reaction, he must be having a hard time. It's tough to nurture employees who don't grow on their own, so the person in charge of training them has to struggle. If the person you're training is also prideful, it's even harder to educate them. Our company values character more than academic background. But suddenly, with my absence, they had to hire someone, so they hired Nick. I heard he's around my age, but apparently he hasn't mentioned me yet. While I was thinking about that at work, I was suddenly called in by the boss. Sorry for calling you in all of a sudden. We have a big business deal coming up, but I've caught a cold. Can you take over for me? Your voice does sound different than usual. Did you catch a cold because of the change in seasons? The business deal is fine. I'll take care of it. By the way, Nick just got back from a business trip, so I'd like you to go with him for the meeting. That way, you might feel a bit more at ease. Now that you mention it, that's true. Since I haven't gone to any meetings since I returned to work, I'd appreciate having someone with recent experience join me. As I said before, Nick can be unique, and he might look down on people based on their education, but don't worry about that at all. Thank you for your concern. I'm not the type to care about being looked down on, so that won't be a problem. But since this is your first meeting after returning to work, you might be quite nervous. I hope you still have the skills you had before your hospitalization. If it were a meeting I prepared for from scratch, I'd feel more confident. But since I'm taking over from you, I'm not as confident as I'd be with a meeting I prepared for myself. 15 years ago, you were full of enthusiasm, but after being hospitalized, your self-esteem might have dropped, and so might your deal success rate. That might be true at first. But since I've been given this opportunity, I'll make sure to use what I learned 15 years ago. If we're talking about raw talent, David, you're far ahead, but in terms of recent experience, Nick is probably better. I'm looking forward to seeing how you both perform. I want to bring back good news to you, boss, so please look forward to it. But if I mess up, I apologize in advance. It's a valuable opportunity for a deal we've prepared for. So of course, it'd be problematic if it's handled carelessly. But as long as you give it your all, I'm not worried about the outcome. Thank you for saying that. I'll tackle this with a strong sense of responsibility. And so, I ended up going to the meeting in place of the boss. I thought I'd be using the materials the boss prepared for the meeting, but he said I wouldn't be able to perform at my best that way, so I lightly edited the materials myself before heading out. I didn't expect to be going to a meeting so soon, so I can't hide my nerves. The boss is considerate, trying not to make me nervous, but I can't help feeling anxious about my first meeting in a long time. That said, being chosen for this task means the company still has expectations for me, so I want to meet those expectations. While I was preparing, Nick came by. I heard there's an employee who was hospitalized. Is that you? Yes, that's right. I'm still nervous since I just got back, but let's do our best at the meeting together. Our company brought you back after being hospitalized for 15 years. What were they thinking? By the way, what's your highest level of education? I'm very grateful to have been brought back, and I'll make sure not to cause any trouble. I'm a high school graduate, but why do you ask? This company used to hire high school graduates. They only hire college graduates now. You're like a living fossil. Sorry. About today's meeting, it was so sudden that I couldn't prepare at all. So I'll leave most of it to you. Got it. I've done some preparation, so I'll take the lead. But keep in mind I have a 15-year gap. Make sure you don't cause any trouble. Just because you're a high school graduate doesn't mean you can slack off. We'll treat you just like any other employee. And so we headed to the meeting. It was my first meeting in 15 years, and I was already sweating nervously before even entering the client's office. I used to excel at these meetings, but it's been so long that I'm not sure what the right approach is anymore. As I was thinking about that and proceeding with the meeting, Nick suddenly started saying some incomprehensible things. It seems he wanted to boost his self-esteem by belittling me in front of the client. Sorry if this meeting is confusing. This guy just got back to work recently and is pretty much useless. He's so incompetent, he'll probably be gone by next year. No, I don't think that at all. Actually, I don't like your attitude, so can we consider this meeting null and void? I apologize for Nick's rude behavior. Could we please continue the meeting? No, it's just strange to say such things about a colleague. It's really put me off. You don't have to say that. I'm the one with a higher education handling this meeting, not him. You can trust me more. No, it seems like they're not convinced by your attitude, Nick. And besides, the boss is the one handling this meeting. Anyway, we're no longer interested in doing business with you. Please leave. This was something our CEO was looking forward to, so it's disappointing. Because of Nick's attitude, my first meeting since returning to work ended in failure. I never thought it would turn out like this, so I'm really frustrated. If it was going to be like this, I wish I had done the meeting alone. As I was thinking that, I went to get the company car from the parking lot and headed to the main entrance, where I saw a woman I didn't recognize. I thought she might be a company associate, so I got out of the car to greet her, and she spoke to me. You've become quite the handsome man without me knowing. I never thought David would turn out to be such an excellent guy. I saw the materials you prepared, they were well put together. I don't believe I know you. May I ask who you are? Sorry for bringing her unexpectedly. This is Emily Johnson, the CEO's daughter. She said she knows you. Why does the CEO's daughter know me? I don't recall. How could you say such a rude thing? I'm Emily Johnson. How could you forget me? Unforgivable. Emily Johnson. Could it be that you were the one hospitalized next to me when I was first admitted? Even though it was over 10 years ago, it's shocking you don't remember me. Now that you mention it, yes. You weren't wearing makeup and dressed differently then, so I didn't recognize you. Those times were tough for both of us, but it's great we've both recovered. I never thought I'd find you here at a client's office. We didn't talk much about work back then, so I didn't realize you were the CEO's daughter. Why are you using formal language? Back then, we talked like friends because we were close in age. I didn't know you were the CEO's daughter back then, so I spoke that way. But now, I can't talk to you like that. So, you know the CEO's daughter, despite being useless? Then, use that connection to secure the deal. That way, even someone useless like you can make it. I heard from my staff that you were disrespectful to your colleague and behaved rudely during the meeting. I'll be reporting this properly. When Emily said that, Nick turned pale, probably not expecting this turn of events. He had been so arrogant and belittling me, but now he was about to be reported for his bad behavior. Nick had clearly never imagined such a development, so he was stunned. Wait a minute. It's fine if David gets fired, but I have a high education and can't leave the company. I don't know if you'll have to leave, but given your behavior during the meeting, it's only natural it gets reported. Why would you say that? You weren't even that great before you were hospitalized. Just quit the company instead of me. Before I was hospitalized, I was the top salesperson of the month. So, I was better at sales than anyone else in the company. No way. Is that true? I wouldn't lie in a situation like this. I've never had such good performance, so if this gets reported, it could be tough for me. When I was struggling with a severe illness and feeling down, talking to David gave me a lot of courage. It's crazy to speak ill of someone who helped me so much. I apologize. It's fine if you report it, but will the contract still be difficult? If possible, I'd like to handle it. The only problem was the attitude of the representative. If Mr. Davis can take over, we'd love to proceed with the contract as discussed earlier. I deeply apologize for Nick's behavior. We look forward to working with you from now on. If it's a company where David works, I'd like to make many more contracts. especially with such a wonderful boss there. If you're willing to think so highly of our company, could you possibly refrain from making the report for the sake of our good relationship? To build a good relationship going forward, it's important to report this properly and make improvements." When Nick heard this, he seemed to agree and collapsed to his knees. Thus, we were able to secure the contract, and we were given opportunities for more meetings. Nick, who was reported, didn't face severe punishment, but became the subject of gossip within the company and eventually quit in frustration. The company recognized my success from the first meeting, and I've been entrusted with more significant deals since. When I was hospitalized for 15 years, I felt truly hopeless, but now I'm determined to work even harder for the company that supported me through it all.